Hello again, everyone. Thank you again for joining us for this EDUCAUSE Demo Day, AI-enabled teaching and learning tools. I'm your host, Nikki House. Just a reminder, please use the chat to share your comments or ask questions to our presenters. And if you would like to view closed captioning, click the Show Captions button located at the bottom of the Zoom room. Now join me in welcoming our presenters from Atomic Jolt.
Thanks, Nikki. Appreciate the introduction. Good morning, everybody. My name is Nick Rebney. I'm the VP of Revenue for Atomic Jolt. And joining me today is Justin Ball. Justin is the co-founder and Chief Technology Officer of Atomic Jolt. He, along with Joel Duffin, started the organization about 20 years ago. Both Joel and Justin have a background in instructional technology. And additionally, Justin has backgrounds in engineering and software design, plus a lifelong interest in AI since college. We've got a couple of poll questions that we're going to launch throughout the session here that we'd love your feedback to. So Nikki will launch those, and please provide that feedback if you're able to. Thank you. As you're doing that, I'm going to give a quick overview of our organization. We are a passionate learner or a passionate team of lifelong learners. We've been in the market, the EdTech market, for over 20 years. But Atomic Jolt as an organization has been around about 10 plus years. Along with Joel and Justin's other ventures, that's where we get up to over 20 years in market experience. We focus on creating products and providing services that support teaching and learning. We work with hundreds of educational institutions across the globe, anywhere from K-12 to higher education to corporate learning and EdTech organizations. A little bit about our products and services. We support over 3 million learners with these products annually. And along with our services, we support EdTech ecosystem with custom development capabilities. So we've done over 500 custom dev projects, mostly in instructional technology and education, including desktop, mobile, web, and now getting into AI-related projects. We'll spend most of our time today talking about the Atomic Curriculum Analysis tool, which you see on the screen there. But in order to preface that, we need to talk a little bit about Atomic Search, which powers that. Many of your institutions might be using Atomic Search right now. You might be long-term users of that product, which has been around in the market for quite a while. But that underpins the technology that provides the AI layer for the Atomic Curriculum Analysis tool. All right, let's go ahead and launch that second poll question, please, Nikki. Thank you.
So this poll question is about our institution. It says our institution has allocated a budget for AI tools in the next fiscal year. And the rating is strongly disagree to strongly agree. We'll give you a moment to go ahead and answer that poll. So Nikki, you've got quite a bit of participation. I'll go ahead and end and share results.
Great, thank you. Moving on to start to dive into our Atomic Curriculum Analysis tool. To help us do that, I've built a small graphic here to help us all understand how it works and how we leverage the content from your learning management system to power deep curricular analysis. So we start by leveraging the highest standards in terms of integrating with your LMS and security related controls by integrating our Atomic Search product in your system. That tool indexes your learning content to make that searchable across courses by students, instructors, and administrators of the LMS. We've developed an Atomic Intelligence platform, which is powered by AI, and that tool analyzes the index learning content that we've got from your LMS via Atomic Search to provide and deliver deep curriculum insights. Atomic Intelligence is an AI application, and powered by your learning content, it gives you that analysis. But as many of you may know, large language models, LLMs, are static and know nothing really about your data, or your tools. So Atomic Intelligence bridges that gap by providing the insight to the large language model that they need to deliver this curriculum insight, to deliver the curriculum analysis. So let's take a closer look at the Atomic Intelligence tool. As we discussed, your institution's learning content is analyzed by the Atomic Curriculum Analysis tool, which we can call CAT for short. Why is this meaningful? Well, many of you have programs that are required to teach to specific topics and concepts. You may even be in a competitive environment in your market, and you want to show the potential students that you have value delivering to some of the local employers in your area. And now you can more easily ensure that your courses are teaching to those standards and that content. You may want to analyze your course content to support continuous learning, really understand that your courses and programs are meeting your stated goals. You want to confirm learning outcome alignment over time. Maybe you want to help prepare and present information to your accreditors. And of course, we've got plenty of other important details down there that are kind of the table stakes, of course. We're never going to use your data to train those large language models, so that wall, that barrier is there. We leverage LTI and are really part of that One Ed Tech ecosystem. We're part of the LTI working group, so we leverage that technology to its greatest standards. You can bring your own LLM to the table if you desire, so more to come about that. And then, of course, some of the strongest security and privacy settings available are part of our product. All right, so those are kind of the details and overview of the solution. Let's launch that final poll question, please, Nikki.
And this question is, which of the following types of AI tools are you adopting at your institution or planning to adopt within the next 12 months? We've got chatbots, support tools, insight tools, and other. And if you type other, please share in the chat what that other thing might be. We can go ahead and end poll now. It looks like 32% are looking at AI-powered student chatbots, while 22% are looking at administrative insight tools.
Great. Thank you very much for the feedback, everyone. Before we get into the full demo of the curriculum analysis tool, I wanted to give you just that 2-minute overview of Atomic Search so you can understand that deep level in which we're analyzing and ingesting your content, your learning content, so you can better understand how and why the curriculum analysis tool is working like it's working. So let me jump out to our learning management systems. Atomic Search, as well as this curriculum analysis tool, work in Canvas, Brightspace, Blackboard. So depending on your usage of the LMS at your institution, we can likely work with you. So for many of you, I'm going to start this from Canvas just for the sake of time, but Atomic Search would be installed in your learning management system to be accessed by different users. And using LTI, we identify the roles of those users so that everyone gets access to the content that they should be getting access to. So for the curriculum analysis tool, of course, that's more of an admin level tool, and that would be searched for at that level. So for example, if I search for just a basic term like mitochondria, Atomic Search has indexed that learning content and provided a searchable index for that material. And that's searching across all the different learning content areas in your LMS. And not just in the native pages of Canvas, Brightspace, Blackboard, etc., but even deep into the HTML. So as you can see here, we have results for that term mitochondria. And if I open up one of the pages there, we can go straight to that concept, which is right here. Of course, this is in a native Canvas page if you're understanding where we're at in that LMS. But it's also searching in files that you have added to the LMS. So if I just filter by files, I can find I have some different file types available with that term as well. So as opposed to finding that term in the native content page of Canvas or Brightspace or Blackboard, it's searching within those files that you have uploaded. So Word documents, PowerPoint files, PDFs, etc. So it's going to get a vast sampling of your content out there. to be able to feed that analysis that will be the curriculum analysis tool. So at this time, I think I'm going to turn it over to Justin, who's going to give the demo of the curriculum analysis tool from Atomic Jolt. Justin, I talked a little bit about Atomic Search here, and that powers the ability to understand your learning content in the LMS. How does the Atomic Intelligence platform play into this?
Sure thing. And thanks, Nick, for demoing and talking about our existing products and services. So we have spent the past almost decade building out Atomic Search. And as AI has become a bigger part of our everyday lives, we realized that the foundation that we've constructed with Atomic Search includes the ability to ingest and analyze vast quantities of content. We analyze several hundred terabytes of data every month. You can imagine that institutions worldwide have quite a bit of content. And so as part of that, we're able to then bring that content to the LLMs. As Nick mentioned, the LLMs are static. And so the important part for you and for your institution and for your students is to bring your particular flavor, your particular content to the table. And that is really where institutions and instructors worldwide continue to provide exceptional value. And we believe in the talents and creativity of individuals worldwide. And so we want to help you discover, organize that content that you've already produced to help facilitate further learning experiences. And that's how Atomic Intelligence operates. So Atomic Intelligence is built on the foundation of Atomic Search and then allows us to build interesting applications like the one that we'll show today here with Atomic Curriculum Analysis tools. All right, let's go ahead and do a demo then. Let's talk about curriculum analysis tools. Let's show that. You can see it here on the screen. So this is, and I'll be available to answer some more questions too. In case anybody's question isn't answered in the chat immediately, I'll be happy to answer those kind of at the end of the demo here. Here on the screen is the Atomic Curriculum Analysis tools. This is your initial dashboard. So when you log in, you'll see it here in your navigation. Of course, we're using Canvas for the demo. There was a question about which learning management systems we support. We support all of the major learning management systems. All of our tools are LTI 1.3 compliant. Which means that we could plug in pretty much anywhere that, we will plug in anywhere that the LMS supports that standard. I sit on the LTI working group and we believe in educational standards. And so we're able to work with all individuals, as many individuals worldwide as possible. So here we have the homepage for the curriculum analysis tools. And what you see is that we've created what's called a program. So the tool is organized around programs. Now, a program can consist of one course if you want to just do analysis on one course, but it's most likely going to consist of many courses. At an institution, we design programs, and those help individuals get degrees. So within the engineering department, I might have a program for electrical engineering and civil engineering and environmental engineering and mechanical engineering. And even within those individual programs, I might designate certain pathways for specialties. My undergraduate was in electrical engineering, and I specialized in high frequency analysis. So rather than like power engineering, some of my friends did ASIC engineering, you can imagine that my pathway was specific to my learning experience. And Atomic Curriculum Analysis tools is really meant to help administrators, instructional designers, instructional design review boards understand their curriculum and understand those pathways that students will take through the content. Right here, we have a nursing program. So this nursing program consists of several different courses. Let's go ahead and take a look at how that's put together. So if I click on my little menu up here, I can go to my managed programs. You can see I've designed 3 different programs. Let's look at the nursing program specifically. So if I go in here and edit, you can see that I've designed my nursing program around a couple of biology courses, some calculus courses. I'm not sure that nursing actually has to take calculus, but I needed some math as part of that. Emergency medicine and human anatomy. There are additional courses. I can see all of the courses up here underneath selected courses. If I use my paging, I can see I've got this next page. So there's an IV therapy. Now we're starting to get into courses that sound more like nursing, medical microbiology, etc. I can add and remove courses here. Depending on my my needs. So if I decide that my program should contain additional courses, I can come in and add those additional courses, and I can kind of mix and match. Let's go back to my homepage here now. We'll come and look at a couple of these other programs here in a minute as well. So here on the nursing page, you'll see that I've gathered the major topics that are taught across these courses. And this is really where the magic of atomic curriculum analysis tools comes in. I was part, as both as being a part of the IEEE organization and as somebody who's studied instructional technology, I was part of the metadata movement, where we tried to tag all of our learning objects with lots of metadata so that we could mix and match and understand. Now, of course, that's a very difficult thing to actually execute because human beings don't enjoy researching, reading through content, and then tagging that content. And then, of course, keeping those tags up to date. Turns out that's kind of a nightmare. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort to keep that up to date. And so even though we loved the theory of that, in practice, it was a very difficult thing to do. As it turns out, large language models are great at analyzing content. They're great at extracting topics. And so as we build out a program that consists of 10 courses, 30 courses, 50 courses, 100 courses, we want to be able to dig down into the content in those courses. And that's what's going on here. We take all of that course material, again, through our Atomic Intelligence platform. We analyze all of that using artificial intelligence, and we extract the major topics from every bit of course material. As you can imagine, that results in potentially tens of thousands of topics. We chose very deliberately not to impose an ontology on top of the analysis, or even a predetermined set of learning objectives. And the reason that we did that is we as individuals have preconceived notions about what our programs, and by extension, what our courses contain. They may or may not actually contain that information. And that's what we need to understand, is the gap between what we think that they should contain and what they actually contain. So we do the analysis through atomic curriculum analysis tools to discover what they actually contain. Now, like I said, through that analysis, you might end up with tens of thousands of topics. And that is too many topics to comprehend, too many topics to be useful. So then we've developed further algorithms to do a clustering analysis so that we can say, for a given topic, what is the major topic? And let's cluster those together. So one topic, let's take a look in here. Let's look at medical safety. You can see that we've clustered all of these related topics right here together underneath medical safety. And so medical safety essentially represents those other topics so that we're able to roll up all of the resources that cover that topic into one major topic. So this helps me understand that in my nursing program, we have fairly good coverage for the topic medical safety. That's one of our major topics. And I can look here and see that 4 of my 13 courses within this program cover that topic. 52 of the 650 different resources have good coverage of that topic. When Nick showed search, you were able to see that resources consist of things like pages. They could consist of files that you've uploaded. They consist of really anything that is searchable and indexable within the system. Again, relying upon that atomic intelligence platform so that we can gain access to that information and analyze it. I can dig deeper into these. We can see that the pharmacology program, 33% of the resources within the pharmacology program have good coverage for the topic medication safety. And then I can further drill down into that if I click on pharmacology, and it actually shows me the resources across all of those different courses and it tells me what they are. So here's an assignment, here's a file, somebody's PowerPoint, different pages within the system. And here is the coverage percent. So the 12 rights of medication administration activity have really good coverage for the topic medication safety. And then scrolling down, you can see that topic coverage decreases as I move through the different resources. And then there's some resources there that also have average coverage. I can go from here and actually click into these different resources. So if I want to dig deep, I can go in and actually look at the materials so that I can say, oh, this particular page, this assignment, whatever it is, does have good coverage that I can review that as a person. Let's see, close that back down. Going back up here, you can see that each program has a list of the major topics that show up. And then I can say, show me all of the topics that are part of this. And then I'll see potentially hundreds. Again, these are the clustered topics. There's quite a few of them there. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at another one of my programs here. I'm going to switch over to artificial intelligence engineering. One of the things that this helps you to do is look at your existing course offerings and potentially create new programs. So here in the area where I live, we have Utah State University. My brother actually teaches there in the engineering department. So I was talking to him about the evolution of that department as things change and as the department wants to offer new offerings. They have added an artificial intelligence engineering program. They don't create a whole new set of courses just to offer that. Instead, you use the foundational engineering courses and then you offer a few additional courses. So to be able to do that, you might come in and say, I want to add, let's look at this program specifically in artificial intelligence engineering. Let's edit that. So as part of that, let's go ahead and take a look at all of the courses in my engineering department. As part of that, I already have a computer architecture class. I already have an engineering design class. I already have my engineers taking linear algebra, and I have them taking physics and statistics. We're going to go ahead and throw in some calculus courses for them. And then there are a few very specific courses in artificial engineering intelligence that I'm going to add. So now I can examine the existing resources within my organization at my university and say, hey, we would like to offer this new thing to students. What do we need to do to be able to offer that? So I can say, well, we have all of these existing courses and we're going to add a couple of extra courses. And then I can run this analysis on artificial intelligence engineering to say, hey, these are the specific things that we want to add. You can see that we're running that analysis right now. So when I add the new courses, that will trigger an analysis where all of the materials are sent through an LLM. So this does take a few minutes to run, and we'll come back to that. All right, so now I have a material science course as well. I can run through and see all of the different high-level topics. Again, I see that there's one course that covers linear algebra. That makes sense because I only make my students take one linear algebra course. But maybe on things like experimental design, I have 5 different courses. There is potentially the issue of under coverage in my curriculum where I don't cover a topic enough. But there's also the potential for over coverage where I have my students take too many classes in a given topic. And so I need to go through and maybe reduce some of that because there is a learning fatigue. If I make the students take the same thing over and over again, you can imagine that they get frustrated and there's going to be complaints about that. So let's look maybe in the experimental design. I'll go ahead and click through and you can see here is our summary based on the LLMs running through all of the materials. This is a summary of all of the materials throughout all of that program. You can see my physics, my physical science, statistics, et cetera, all cover experimental design. So maybe I pull one of those courses out of my curriculum. Maybe they don't need physical science. Maybe physics and physics 2 is enough. And again, you can see the related topics. Another thing about the analysis tools is that atomic search is built in right here. So I can do any kind of search that I want. I'm going to take a look. Let's see. I'm just going to search for physics within material science. And you can see that I have 296 results across my program. Again, this is scoped just to the specific program. And I can narrow it down based on the types, just as I would within atomic search. I can search by relevance, or I can search the most recent things that have been added. Maybe I'm using courses that are older and I want to see some of the newer stuff. So I can organize and say, oh, it looks like the newest thing in this entire program is this 2017 calculus exam. Maybe my materials are getting a little bit outdated. I need to go through and do some revision. I can also add this search as a topic. Going back to my main screen on material science, I'm always able to manually add a new topic. So if we determine that the analysis didn't discover what we hoped or thought it should discover, I can go in here and say, all right, I need to add this new topic. I need to add something like, I'm not as familiar with material science, but let's see, science, oops, still science correctly, of metals. So then I can come in, add that topic, and it will do an analysis across all of the materials, again, to find science of metals. And maybe what I discover at that point is I thought that I covered this topic, but only one course covers that, and it only has a few resources that cover that. So we need to beef that up. Or maybe I find I add a topic and it's overtaught. And so then I can say we can pull some of that out. But it keeps the human in the loop. And as part of what we call the Atomic Intelligence Platform, we believe that keeping the instructor, keeping the human being, a key part of all of the processes is critical, because that's where creativity happens. That's where the spark of imagination happens. And that's where that connection with our students happens. So all of these tools will continue to utilize the talents of individuals and enhance them with superpowers that are provided by AI, where we make AI do the boring and laborious things like analyzing vast piles of historical content. You can imagine it would be almost impossible to go through terabytes of data, but a machine can do it, and do it relatively quickly. So with that, I think that we have a little bit of time here for questions. So I'll open it up for that. Nick, if you've seen any of the questions show up, I'm happy to answer those here in real time.
Yeah, we've got a number of questions here, but obviously, please continue to post those questions. Let me get to some that the team hasn't answered yet, I don't think. Can courses be filtered by course category when selecting them, or do they simply present an A to Z format?
So there is, let's go into here. This is the program we edited. I can actually search courses. We do atomic search, and so we provide you a search here as well. So I can say, well, I just want my biology courses, and we can find those. So hopefully that's helpful. And I totally agree. If I had hundreds or potentially even thousands of courses, then you definitely want to be able to search through those. And we do see that happen. There are a lot of institutions that have been building courses for many decades. And so they might have 20 different versions of the same biology course. And so they need to build and narrow that down quickly. So yes, we provide a search to help with that.
Can admins select an entire category over which CAT can reason, or is it a course by course selection?
So let's see here. I think right now it is on a course by course, or yeah, I think you have to come in and pick specific courses. That would be a pretty easy thing to add. I'm gonna just click in here. No, I'm wrong. Sorry. The artificial analysis engineering one is still being analyzed, so I can't change it. You can actually do this. You can come in and select all. And if I had done a search, let's click on the search right here. And I just said, show me my, if I can spell calculus, show me just my calculus courses. I can also just do a select all. So that's not necessarily by category, but it is allowing you to search and then select all of those at the same time. All right, other questions?
Keep them coming in the chat, but talk a little bit about our software development release cycle, if you could.
Okay, sure thing. So this particular project, we've had a really good opportunity that we appreciate to work with some incredible partners. And our process is to work with our customers directly to get their feedback, and then to develop out products that meet their needs. So as we continue to interact with customers, we'll continue to evolve this product. We've had a couple of meetings with some other potential customers, and we can really consider our customers partners. We like to work with the people who use our product so that we can better understand their particular needs, because we're not a huge team, and our vision and insight is not always the same vision that our customers have. So we need to align those two things. We take feedback from our customers, bring that into our design process, provide them with UI experiences that we're then able to translate into engineered and fully developed products. So as we look to the future with this product, we're going to add trying to decide how much to say about the future engineering roadmap, but we are planning on integrating this with metrics so that you can not only see the topics, but you can see student performance related to topics and better understand, are the materials within my program, within my courses, serving the needs of students? And how does that align with the actual outcomes? And that will help with the feedback cycle in my curriculum so that I can say, well, maybe my students aren't performing as well in Calculus 1 as they should be. Maybe we need to boost up some of the curriculum there so that we can improve the test scores, so that we can improve student retention. But also, I think Nick mentioned when we started the presentation that this tool is meant to be helpful during the accreditation process, because you have your accreditors show up, they say, well, we want to know that your particular programs, that your materials align with the learning objectives that our board has set forth. So once you do this analysis, you can say, hey, here's all of the materials that align with that. If you think you're missing something, you can go in and add a topic based on the requirements, the requests from the individuals you show up to do that accreditation. But then you'll also be able to show that, hey, student outcomes are aligned with, our student performance is aligned with the objectives that you set forth. We can then tell not just the accreditation board, but potentially industry partners, hey, we're able to meet your needs. Our students are learning the things that they need to be learning. So I guess I went off on a little bit of a tangent, but our engineering design process is meant to serve and align with our partners wherever possible. So we try to deliver as much value. It's maybe a little bit of an overused term. We try to do the things that serve you the best, and that's how we align our engineering development process and our roadmap. All right. Other questions?
Yeah, anything more on the future application of this tool that you can see?
Yeah, so as we mentioned, we look at it as an opportunity with accreditation. We look at it as a way for departments, department heads, administrators, or curriculum review boards to view and analyze their content. We'll be digging deeper into the analysis over time so that you can get even better reporting, like say, based on the metrics around student performance, but also hopefully we'll be able to gather additional information. That it does become a little bit LMS specific. Different LMSs gather different information about students' behavior within the system. So we'll begin to integrate with more of that student behavior, student activity, so that we can give you further insights. We want you to be able to know that your students are learning from your content, that it's having meaningful impact. And then, of course, we'll continue to develop the Atomic Intelligence platform so that you can gather more real-time insights based on your needs and experiences without even requesting new development. One of the promises and interesting parts about artificial intelligence is now we're moving the power of really of what's been in the realm of traditional software development. We're moving that into the hands of our users. I think most people are familiar with the chatbot interface. And it becomes really easy to think that, hey, it's just everything's another chat. But what really brings power to that interface is what underlies those chat experiences. So being able to tie into your data, being able to tie into specific APIs, whether those are the LMS APIs, whether those are APIs at your institution, or whether they are new ways to store and analyze data, those become tools that feed into the artificial intelligence. So the future of atomic curriculum analysis tools and the future of the Atomic Intelligence platform will be based on bringing that type of power to our users, where you might say, hey, this is great. We've done all of this analysis. Now I need this other bit of data. Please go out and find that and generate a report and give that to me. And you won't have to ask Atomic Jolt for that. You'll just ask the AI within our interface and be able to go get some of that. So there's more to come. as we continue to develop out these tools.
Yeah, and a couple of other questions come in probably along those lines about what's possible. But one is, could this be used to provide customized learning solutions based on selected topics?
So it could, yes. Once you have all of these topics, there's interesting things you can do with them. And I guess I should say there's also some pragmatic things that we have on our roadmap, like being able to download a spreadsheet that says, here is a given resource, here's all the keywords. So that you can then take that and do other interesting things with it. And that would be an interesting thing to do with it. Once I have those keywords mapped and those topics mapped to specific resources, you could imagine that I could feed that into, it could become the source of data for another tool that feeds into artificial intelligence to customize a student's learning experience. So while I would say that that's not part of what atomic curriculum analysis tools would do, atomic curriculum analysis tools could become a stepping stone to enable that type of interaction for your students. And that would be more of a student-focused experience versus a faculty instructor kind of experience. This tool is really intended for faculty, for administrators, for program and department heads. Whereas some of the other tools that we're looking at building on the Atomic Intelligence platform will be more student focused. Of course, you have to be a little bit more careful with those because instructors and faculty are usually experts in their domain, so they'll know if the AI goes off track. But with students, they don't necessarily know that. They don't have the background and experience. So we have to put a lot of guardrails in place and make sure that the tools that are powering the AI are sufficient to ensure that the information that the students get and the guidance that they're getting is accurate. So more to come with tools like that in the future. But for right now, we're providing this to institutions from the faculty point of view.
Thanks. I think probably currently on the or more on the roadmap question wise is, do you currently map directly to any accreditation bodies requirements so that users don't have to build out the searches and analysis?
We don't right now, but that's an excellent suggestion. And adding that functionality wouldn't be terribly difficult because of all the mapping that we already have in place. So if that's something that you're interested in, we'd be happy to discuss that. So we could add that relatively quickly. And we'll put it on the roadmap. So thanks for the feedback.
Well, I think that exhausts our questions, unless any come here in the last few seconds of our demonstration. But we want to thank you all for joining and participating today. And our team has put some of our resources and links in the chat. So hopefully you picked up those and where to reach out to us directly if you want to have individual conversations. We'd love to talk to you about the current product and the future.
Nick, just really quickly, I was just reading back through the chat. There were a couple of questions, and I just wanted to address one of them. Sorry, I apologize because I realized you were trying to wrap up. But there was somebody that asked if we could do an analysis of the transcriptions of videos, and Atomic Search does actually analyze the transcripts of videos. We do have the ability to run videos through AI. So I realize that a lot of content does get wrapped up in videos, and so we can analyze that content and make that part of this. So being able to show that, hey, within this course, there's this resource that's the video, and here's the appropriate data. And then I think Kip Ferguson asked about eMedley. That's one I'd have to look into. It's not one that we've tested with, but if it is LTI 1.3 compliant, it should work. If you'd like, happy to chat and take a look and test with eMedley as well. So sorry, just wanted to make sure that everybody's questions got answered there, and I saw those in the chat.
Yep, thanks for those clarifications. All right, we'll go ahead and close the session right here, but thank you all for your attendance, and please reach out to us directly.
All right, thank you, everyone.
On behalf of all of us at EDUCAUSE, I want to thank you, Justin and Nick, for your presentation and your demo today. Thank you to our audience for joining this EDUCAUSE demo day. Please take a moment, if you haven't already, and complete the survey link found in the chat. That is for us to gain feedback on this session. The demo recordings and resources will also be made available on the event site, which has been shared in the chat. You'll also be able to share your information there directly with our presenters if you want to make contact with them after the session. And on behalf of EDUCAUSE, we hope to see you at our next demo day session starting at 11:30 Eastern. Thank you.